All right, I think we are ready to go into open session.
Okay. We will start with the filing penalty waivers consent calendar. Before we proceed, does anyone wish to remove a matter from the consent calendar? Seeing and hearing none. Vice Chair, you prepared.
Consent calendar.
Items 6 through 35 on the public session agenda.
Through 35, Chair? 6 through 35?
35.
Okay, no, I have something on some of the other ones, but not those.
Okay. Wonderful. Vice Chair, are you prepared to make a motion?
I am. Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the commission approve the filing penalty waivers presented on the consent calendar.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioners, you've heard the motion on the consent calendar, items 6 through 35. Administrator, please call the roll.
Commissioner Burke.
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner McCauley.
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez.
Aye.
Commissioner Givens.
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson.
Aye.
Commissioner Helt.
Aye.
Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0.
Okay, moving on to agenda item 36. Statement of economic interest penalty reduction. Is there anyone giving a report on this matter?
We didn't get Susan. Hold on one second.
Thank you.
I'm not sure if she's over.
I have faith in our ability to talk $20 to death. I think we can do it.
Chair, will we have a moment? Can I make a comment?
Commissioner Halt, yes, please proceed.
Thank you. I just wanted to comment, and when reading through these letters, there's a lot of technical issues that people seem to run into, and there was a couple health issues. I still wanted to highlight that I feel like we should be looking into what that looks like when someone's on Paid Family Leave Act. I know we've talked about it in the past, but since we had a quiet moment, I thought I would bring that back up for a reminder. But I wonder if there's a way to have our technology looked at and streamlined. Someone in their letter says they have a 30-year-old computer that does not work, that they work for the city or something like that. And so I just thought, wow, a 20-year-old computer quit working and they're unable to purchase new ones, and they live and they're working in a small city. So I just thought technical issues should be highlighted and to the top of our mind of how we can help people with technology to file the things we're asking of them. I mean, some of it's out of our control, I get, but if there's anything we can do to help streamline programs or accessibility would be great. Thanks.
Understood. Thank you. I'm back on. We do staff reach out so much more than years ago when I first started here. Staff for that month of like SEI filing, they reach out and file for people over the phone. So people who, lots of people forget their password because this only happens once a year. And so we can, yes, we can just help them reset their password. But usually when we offer to do that, we also say, if you'd like, we can help you file right now over the phone and just get it done. And most of them say, absolutely, that's so much easier. So we do our best to reach out to these people and see if we can help them file, because yes, not everyone has the equipment or the expertise to do so.
Thank you, Executive Director Myers. And then I know we have it on our sort of ongoing list to address of the family leave issue as well. So we're in ongoing conversation about that. Okay, Executive Director Myers, we are on agenda item 36. Can you provide a report?
Yes, this member of a school board had late penalties of $710 for filing their SEI late. Last year, they also filed late and got a letter of education. So this would be their second violation. In accordance with our process, we reduce it to either 10% or a minimum of $20. So in this case, my recommendation is to reduce the penalty to $20.
Thank you, Executive Director Myers. Any questions for our Executive Director? Seeing and hearing none, Vice Chair, are you prepared to make a motion?
Thank you, Madam Chair. For agenda item number 36, I move the commission approve the recommended filing penalty reduction in this matter.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioners, you've heard the motion on our public session, agenda item 36. Administrator, please call the roll.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Givens,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner McCauley,
Aye.
Commissioner Helt,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0.
Moving on to the stipulated final order consent calendar. Does anybody need to pull a matter off of this consent calendar? Items 37 through 44.
Yes, Chair, this is Commissioner Ivan Resendez Gutierrez. For matters 37 through 44, I have to declare a potential conflict of interest as to number 37 because my firm represents the individual. I don't personally, but the firm does. So if we could pull that one off of the consent calendar, that would be great.
We can do that. Thank you. And then we also have somebody appearing, I think, just to observe and not make any statement, Sabrina Riggs. Have we allowed her into Teams?
Yep, she's on.
Okay. So let's consider matter 37, and then we will do matters 38 through 44 on the consent calendar.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. For agenda item number 37, I move the commission approve the proposed stipulated final order as the final order in this matter, and the chairperson be authorized to sign it as such.
Thank you, Vice Chair. You've heard the motion on 37, and Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez is abstaining due to a conflict on this matter. Administrator, please call the roll.
Commissioner Burke, Commissioner Burke.
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Givens,
Aye.
Commissioner Helt,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez is abstaining. Commissioner McCauley.
Aye.
Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0 with one abstention.
Okay, now we will hear items 38 through 44 altogether on the consent calendar.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the commission approve the proposed stipulated final orders presented on the consent calendar as the final orders in those cases, and the chairperson be authorized to sign them as such.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioners, you've heard the motion as to items 38 through 44. Administrator, please call the roll.
Commissioner McCauley,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Commissioner Givens,
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Helt,
Aye.
Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0.
Okay, agenda item 45, stipulated final orders. Investigator Fenstermaker, please provide the report.
Thank you, Chair Payne. Commissioners, this is Casey Fenstermaker. Agenda item number 45 is a stipulated final order negotiated between Evan Giudice and Commission staff to address violations of Oregon government ethics law. In the proposed stipulated final order, Evan Giudice acknowledges that while employed at Deschutes County Health Services, they improperly claimed they worked hours there while they were actually working at another organization, that they used DCHS resources for their private business, and that they failed to declare conflicts of interest each time they took actions or made decisions or recommendations that could or would result in private financial benefit to themselves or their business. To resolve this matter, they have agreed to a civil penalty in the amount of $2,000. Our recommendation is to approve the proposed stipulated final order.
Thank you, Investigator Fenstermaker. Commissioners, any questions for our investigator? Seeing and hearing none, Vice Chair, are you prepared to make a motion?
Thank you, Madam Chair. For agenda item number 45, I move the commission approve the proposed stipulated final order as the final order in this matter, and the chairperson be authorized to sign it as such.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioners, you've heard the motion on agenda item 45. Administrator, please call the roll.
Commissioner Givens,
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson,
Aye.
Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez.
Aye.
Commissioner McCauley,
Aye.
Commissioner Helt,
Aye.
Commissioner Burke,
Aye.
Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion passed 7-0.
Okay, we are going to move to other correspondence, and you should have all received a copy of a letter from the Special Districts Oregon or League of Oregon Cities and some other entities addressed to me. Executive Director Myers, do you want to lead discussion on this letter, or do you want me to?
Whatever you would prefer.
You can start, and I can jump in at any point.
So this letter arrived a couple days ago, and as you can see, it was not addressed to me. It's addressed to the commission. In it, they raise various concerns with the public meetings law and how both commission staff and the commission have both interpreted and identified violations. And they ask in the letter for a meeting with either Chair Payne or with the commission itself. So I am presenting the letter to you. For context, a lot of concerns regarding the public meetings law itself and what the statutory language is will also be addressed through the legislative work group process. The work group has reformed, and the first meeting is next week. However, as they have requested to speak to the commission, I am presenting that to you, and you could address that in any number of ways, an individual meeting versus having them come to the August 14th meeting, and we can add a specific agenda item for that.
Yeah, I mean, if it's with a quorum of the commission, it would have to be during a public meeting. If it's just with myself, or like perhaps me and the vice chair, we could certainly meet with them outside of a public meeting. But my preference, I think, would be transparency and have them come to a public meeting, and any discussion can happen in a public forum. I don't see the need to have discussions outside of a public forum, but that's my preference. Although I know the commission meetings are long, and I don't know that I also want to take up the time of the commission to air grievances. So I'm also fine having myself and vice chair meet them outside of the commission, which might be just better for moving things along during a commission meeting. So maybe let's do it that way. Vice chair?
When it's appropriate, since this letter did, make it in the press, I have a few things I'd like to do to put on the record as well. So when it's appropriate, I would like to do that.
Yeah, no, we are going to discuss the letter. I'm just talking about
Okay.
the meeting, and I'm open to discussion about whether people think we should have the meeting in an open session or not. And I have lots of thoughts about the letter that I want to say on the record as well, but I'm going to open it up to others because that's how I roll. So Vice Chair, please proceed, and then we'll move to Commissioner Halt.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Of course, I'm speaking only for myself since on advice of staff and the law, we could not talk about this outside of this meeting with anyone else. So I hear and appreciate these groups' wants for a better relationship with us. That said, taking a shot at our integrity when they don't know most of us is a poor start. I'm going to chalk that up to an overzealous mistake on their part, and I'm going to assume that it will not happen again. They talk about an insistence on interpreting statutes without regard to operational realities of local governments. As someone who has served on local commissions and committees in the past, this is an absolutely inaccurate statement. However, statute is statute. If the statutes need to be changed, that is why these groups have teams of lobbyists. Using the Government Ethics Commission as a scapegoat for a statute they disagree with is unhelpful. With respect to their concerns on House Bill 4177, I would direct these groups to statements made by legislators as this moved through the process that there were issues with this bill. This bill was in no way ready for passage. The final bullet point in their letter says, despite a massive surge in public meetings law cases, up 128% in 2024 and 46% the following year, total fines remain completely flat. 3 points on this statement. First, we do not file these complaints. Members of the public, the constituents of these bodies, do. Next, the public body gets a chance to address the issue before it even gets to OGEC. Many, if not all, of our agendas have cases dismissed for the complainant not following the proper process. And third, they are completely ignoring the letters of education often issued in these cases. To say that we don't do anything is ridiculous. I'm committed to working with these groups to update ethics laws and that protect public access to deliberations by public officials and public bodies, but I find that this letter is a poor start to that work. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Vice Chair, well said. Thank you for your statements. I agree with them wholeheartedly. Commissioner Halt, do you still want to speak?
Yeah, thanks, Chair Payne. I believe that we should be accessible to groups that want to meet with us. If we agree or disagree with them, that's irrelevant. I think we should make it available and public. I think they should be given some allotted time on the meeting in August. And if our meeting goes long, I think that is just part of the work that we've signed up for. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Halt. Any other commissioners have comments regarding the letter?
Sure.
I will, Commissioner Gibbons.
I agree wholeheartedly with Commissioner John. Thank you.
Official
As
title.
as a former member of AOC and chair of it, they huge amount of money in lobbyists. To specifically meet with the legislative arm of our government, and for them to start throwing rocks at the commission, I totally disagree with. But yeah, I think it might be good to meet with them.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner McCauley.
Thank you, Chair Payne. I'm in firm agreement. I appreciate Vice Chair Thompson's comments. I would echo his sentiments. And then I would also second Commissioner Helt's thoughts that we should be transparent and would welcome them at our next meeting.
Thank you. I appreciate those comments. I agree with everything that's been said, and so let's add them to our agenda for August. I want to just add on to Vice Chair's comments that I think a lot of the statements in the letter are unfair. I am joining the legislative work group along with Executive Director Myers, and am looking forward to tackling the issues related to the public meeting laws. And I recognize that there's been a lot of confusion around the serial meetings provision, but that is not something that is due to a lack of integrity on our part. It is due to a legislative fix that needs to happen, and we are enforcing the law as it exists. We are enforcing it consistently and based on the facts that come before us. I also want to just say that I support our staff and the efforts that they make and the hard work that they do. And I know that they do a great job. So I take issue with attacking our agency staff. And I do not think that it is the right approach here. I also do want to state that the last bullet point, I think, where it says that the commission is largely dismissing or declining to penalize these cases, seems very inconsistent with their statement that we're over penalizing individuals at the front and being unfair to these public bodies. It just seems very inconsistent. So obviously, I think what we are doing is looking at the facts as they come before us and applying the law to those facts. And what they're saying is it looks like we're dismissing or declining to penalize individuals for these cases. I don't know that the stats that they're saying are true. I haven't looked at them myself, but it certainly seems inconsistent with their initial statements that we're being overly penalistic to public bodies. I do want to recognize that it's hard to serve as a volunteer on a public body, but it's important to comply with these laws, and we also do our best to be fair and consistent and look at things from an objective point of view. And I'm proud to be a part of this body and to work with people from different political viewpoints and understand that we work together to make our government more fair and transparent. So those are my comments. And I look forward to having a productive conversation with these entities in August. That's all I have to say. So unless anybody has anything further on that issue, we will move on to the number 49. And Executive Director, are you leaving for that matter, or are you staying?
I can leave if you wish me to. I'm not participating in the matter at all, so you just sit there quietly. It is in public.
The public meeting.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're welcome to stay. So we will now be discussing agenda item 49 and deciding the matter of assigning an investigator to conduct the preliminary review of the ethics complaint against our executive director. The options are directing staff to conduct the preliminary review, directing staff to work with another state agency to find an outside investigator to conduct the preliminary review, directing staff to negotiate a contract with a private contractor, appointing a commissioner to serve as the commission's contact to negotiate with another state agency to find an investigator to conduct the preliminary review, including negotiating an interagency agreement as needed, or appoint a commissioner to serve as the commission's contact to negotiate a contract with a private investigator to conduct the preliminary review. I want to open it up to discussion. I have my own thoughts, but again, I will open it up for thoughts. And I see Commissioner Burke's hand is raised. So please, Commissioner Burke, I think you are currently muted.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I don't see that I have a conflict of interest in this case. But this originated with a case against me, and because of the reasons stated in the documentation, has now been called a conflict of interest of our executive director. And if I participate in this discussion item, I'm afraid the same person will then declare there's another conflict of interest on me. So what I'm going to do to try and put a rest to that is simply abstain from this issue.
Thank you, Commissioner Burke. I think that is a wise choice, and I support that decision. So we will have you abstain from discussion and any decision on this matter, as you have wisely chosen.
Madam Chair.
Vice Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. While I don't think that our investigative staff has conflicts of interest, I respect their concern that they do, and I don't want to put them in a bad position. So, looking at the list of options that are in front of us, I'm leaning toward directing our staff, whether that be our investigative staff or our DOJ staff, to find an outside investigator in another state agency and negotiate the interagency agreement, and take the completely hands-off approach to the investigation from our office. So I think, what is that, number 2 on the list you read? I'm in favor of going in that direction.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Gibbons.
I would agree any of the others, except maybe for the 4th one might have a potential to appear publicly that it's being swept under the rug, or there's some coercion by other people involved in the agency or the commission.
Are you saying that you think the only option that you want to proceed with is option number 4?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I would agree with number 2, which staff would work with the state agency, but another state agency would take some of the onus off staff, so that the criticism, oh, they're just biased.
Understood. Okay, thank you for that clarification. Any other discussion by commissioners? Commissioner Hell.
Thanks, Chair Payne. I would like to honor the staff's request, essentially, of not being involved. I think it's really important to move it outside. I do think we should move it outside the entire government. I think we should look for a private agency. I think that just removes any bias whatsoever. And I also, this is my bias, I think the state agencies will be more expensive and take longer. So I'd really like to see us have the DOJ look into an outside firm that could investigate it. I think that is the most, the least conflict of interest and most potential unbiased space that we could present back to the public, so that when the report comes back, we can feel like we've removed all the variables that anyone would want to see removed. That's what I've done in the past when I've been on boards, is always went to outside agencies to investigate, because I think that that's the most prudent way to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Halt. Commissioner Halt, what is your basis for believing that a private investigator would be cheaper than using another agency?
I believe there's a lot of layers that we're going to have to go through, and a lot more staff that will be involved.
Okay,
I can give an example of an outside firm would know what their cost is immediately. I think if we're going from agency to agency, it's going to be the person that you're going to be using to investigate the report would not know their cost and what they would be, what they should charge. And so then there's going to have to be people putting together reports on how much it would cost and what the transfer of availability would be, where an outside agency would know their availability immediately. Thank you.
okay. Any other comments or discussion on perhaps a private investigator versus an agency, outside agency? I mean, in my experience, I have found private entities be more expensive, but I don't have that experience, so. Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez.
Well, as someone who does investigations and works like at least on the employment side or with catastrophic injuries, like, I mean, it really does depend. Like there are people who are really efficient, and then there's people who are not on the private sector side. And so there's also depending on who the investigator is, they could have a lot of staff so that they can offset some of the costs using a paralegal or some other so I mean, it really does depend. I can't speak to on the public sector side, but in terms of private sector, there's a lot of good investigators. You just kind of have to shop around and see who one has availability. But also just some are better at cost estimate. There's some that do not to exceed budgets or phases of investigation with different price points. So yeah, it's something we can look into.
Okay.
Can I speak?
Who? Oh, sorry.
Becky.
Is that Becky? Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Becky,
I know,
please.
normally I only speak when, you guys have things like a schedule or new iPads. So a couple of things I just want to fill you in on. The complaint is still subject to the 60-day PR period. So the clock is already ticking. So I do want to remind you of that. And going to outside the state, we do have to go through DOJ to get the contract ratified. And so there is that process, which is not quick, which does cut into the period. So I just want to remind you of that. Now, when we found out about the complaint, we did reach out to DAS to find out if they were available to potentially complete an investigation on behalf of our staff following our statutes without saying who it was on, which was a little twisty, but we did do that. They are not available to do an investigation. However, they are the ones that found us an investigator with the Department of Corrections who is available and capable of completing the investigation within our 60-day period. So I just wanted to share that information with you. We have contracted before with Barry Elsner, with not for this particular kind of case where it's on one of us, but to substitute for DOJ when they've been conflicted out. But again, that would still require us to go through DOJ and go through the contracting process, which again, eats into that 60-day period. So that's just some information I wanted to put out there and remind you guys of.
Thank you. That's helpful. I mean, I'm open to more discussion, but considering we have a state agency that's ready and available and willing to do it within the time frame, that's where I would be leaning towards. So I would be leaning towards option number 2. It seems like I don't think it would be too much for staff to simply arrange the state agency to negotiate. Sounds like staff has already been doing some of that work. So it sounds like we can have them continue that work and finalize that deal. That's where I'm leaning towards. I am open to hear others' thoughts, but let's try to move this forward. Commissioner McCauley.
Yeah, I would support kind of the direction that you are leaning. While I do appreciate Commissioner Helt, and I understand that, I think Becky's comments and reminders, we need to take that into consideration.
Thank you, Commissioner McCauley. I see Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez nodding his head and when giving a thumbs up.
Would you like a motion?
Yeah, Vice Chair, are you prepared to make a motion?
I am. Madam Chair, I move that we direct our staff to work with another state agency to find an outside investigator to conduct this preliminary review, including negotiating an interagency agreement as needed.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Commissioners, you've heard the motion. Administrator, please call the roll.
Commissioner McCauley.
Aye.
Commissioner Helt.
Aye.
Commissioner Givens.
Aye.
Commissioner Burke is abstaining. Commissioner Resendez Gutierrez.
Aye.
Commissioner Thompson.
Aye.
Chair Payne.
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0 with 1 abstention.
Okay, thank you everyone for that very productive conversation. If somebody wants to now give the trainers report.
Good afternoon, Chair Payne and commissioners. This is Ruth Sylvester, trainer for the record, and I have updates for you on some projects from the training team. So we are having a busy summer. Lex is leading the accessibility team through auditing the CMS and EFS apps. Those are our database apps to update the criteria. And I've provided public meetings law training for the Clackamas County Board of Commissioners and the Lane County government in June. We have a new ethics law training available on demand in Workday as of June 30th. And we are encouraging public officials throughout Oregon to take that training. As commissioners, we would especially appreciate if you would be able to offer us feedback, and if you would provide that feedback to Stephanie, please. Now, we also delayed some of our ethics webinars so that the updates from the new government ethics law guide can be incorporated in those webinars. And all of our regularly scheduled webinars are taking place in July and forward. And our newest trainer, Angela, has presented training on conflicts of interest for the Greater Oregon Society of Meeting Professionals. Molly is booking September and October trainings. The June newsletter is in your meeting books. And Stephanie is collaborating with the Oregon Association of Municipal Recorders to present a unique training about resources for public meetings law in August. And Chris, who has been managing the meeting today, is also leading our training team to refine our outreach plan.
Thank you very much. And finally, our executive director's report.
The chair, commissioners, I'll try to keep this short. Budget, we currently have at the end of May had a surplus of 548,000 and some change, which is approximately 5 months, I believe, in terms of carryover. Becky is working very hard on all of the materials to submit our agency response budget is due, agency request budget, that is due by the end of July. That includes one policy option package, as I noted, which is basically to carry forward limitation for the ongoing CMS EFS replacement project. Before he retired on June 30th, David Hunter worked very hard to try to get all of the delinquent SEI filers in the system. Didn't quite manage it, but got it down significantly. So while he is no longer here, Becky and the admin staff are all still working on trying to get those last few SEI filers. Lobbyist reporting currently open. It ends next Wednesday for Q2. Recruitment. So Becky and others are working on recruiting to fill the admin specialist position, David Hunter's position. And then I do want to introduce to the entire commission our newest investigator, Shatal Dagari. She joined us a little over a week ago. Yeah. And so we're very happy to have her and get back to having all of the investigator positions filled. And then finally, as mentioned previously in the LOC discussion, the public meetings law, we are continuing to work on it. The legislative work group begins next week. And we will be meeting with all of them and working on it.
Thank you, Executive Director Myers. That is our last matter on the agenda. Does anybody have anything else for the good of the order? Commissioner Halt.
Thanks, Chair Payne. I wanted to go back to trainings. I liked this map that we have of where the trainings are happening and how many are happening in each county. I was wondering if we could also get some other maps of where our complaints are generated from, and from what type of agencies they're coming from, so that we can look at where we need more training specifically. Is it in, water boards? Is it aquatic boards? Is it school boards? Where city councils? So that we're trying to put all the data together of where the trainings are needed and what type of agency. I feel like the map is great, but I'd love to see more maps and data so we could overlay them. Thank you. Of
course.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anything else for the good of the order? All right, everyone have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you in August. Hope you're enjoying your summer, and we are now adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.